back to what Shan was saying in the beginning, that is the problem, is that men are meeting the desirable part of a woman, and then they don't have the likable part, and then they are trying to mold and change, because a lot of times that's what I hear, like a man saying how much that they do try to get a younger woman so you can mold and change her, or do this. You can't, women get too old, they stuck in their ways, you can't change them. Do you think that is part of the problem? They're finding women with the desirable part, the physical attraction part, but then they don't have the likable part, where they really just don't like the woman and they're trying to change her so they can like her because they're so attractive.
Or they do like her, just not for the reasons. They don't like her for conversation. Maybe she's doing some things, maybe she does clean the house very well. Maybe she cooks very well. Hell, I like her. Can I marry her? I'll take her too. Shit.
Mistaken, that was a good question. But I don't think change and mold in the way you use it, in the way you used it just a moment ago, is the way men mean it. So when we're talking about older women not being moldable, not being changeable, it means they're stuck in their ways. They want what they want, they like what they like, and they're not flexible. Younger women have a tendency to be more flexible because they don't have the life experience. They're typically not jaded when it comes to relationships. They're not stuck on I'm doing it this way. I'm a lawyer. I'm going this direction. This is who I am. So I think that who HD, but I I don't think that that's the way men mean it because we don't. Y'all are the ones who take on projects. We're not trying to take on a project.
Is it
Uh,
really that women, well, depending on how young they are? But because I think back at my days, I think I was more of what I don't know what the word, like a firefighter, when I was younger. Like I was, whereas I've gotten older, I think I've mellowed out more the younger I was a firecracker when I was young. I think
but you,
most women are firecrackers when they're younger than
but
when they're
here's the
older.
difference though. If you weren't flexible in the way you moved from when you were younger, you wouldn't have been you wouldn't be married as long as y'all have been married, and he sure in the hell would not have sent you a text at 3:41 telling you how cool you are.
Yeah, they have a
And
special kind of
I
relationship.
mellowed
but
out. That's what I'm saying.
but no, but what I'm saying is you now wouldn't be that flexible if you if you weren't married and met a new dude. Y'all met when you were in that molding stage, when both of y'all were in that molding stage, and y'all decided to actually grow, which I think is really important. Y'all decided to grow, and both of you kind of molded into the people that you are now from the experiences of each other.
I understand
Whereas if I went and hollered at let's say I went and found me a 23-year-old and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna take you to Europe with me. We're gonna stay in this little bungalow. It's probably not gonna be the greatest, but we're gonna have a good time." She's gonna be on board with it. What about that woman that's already been to let's say Spain and stayed at the nicest places and did the greatest thing? In her mind, that in that older woman's mind, nigga, you ain't telling me shit I ain't did already, and you're gonna get me to downgrade. So I think that's what it's more about being when we say moldable. I think we really truly mean more flexible in the way you maneuver through life. That's just my thought.
I
Not as
actually
rigid. That's the
agree with
word. You're
you.
not as rigid when you're younger.
I actually agree with you in terms of both of us being the age that we are. I think both of us had a level of influence on each other. Then I think at this age now, I think others would have much less influence because you already know. have a sense of who you are. I think that's the difference. You really are trying to learn who you are, so you have to adapt and be more flexible. People have more influence at that age because you're trying to develop, versus when you are older, you already have a sense of who you are, and it's like I actually agree with you, AP, 100%.
What? Shut up.
I have
Yes.
so to add
What's
on
up,
to
HD?
HD say something. I think that what takes place, and it goes back to Miss Sakin's comment about dating a younger, I think you said earlier about men dating younger women, right? I think that both women and men mature a little bit as they get older. And they see that they have different wants and needs as older people. I think one of the other things we were talking about solutions, right? I think one solution that will be great is if young people also thought that whether it be ratchet behavior, loud behavior was not cool. Meaning, there was a time where the woman who fought for you, did all that stuff for you, was the woman for you, right? And then as you get older, you're like, I ain't got time for that. I need peace in my life. But if we started out with peace, she would have never. I think that and younger, you could teach her like, no, this is what wins games, right? It's the switch up that causes confusion. If that makes sense. Does that make any sense? You on mute.
You said it's the switch up that causes confusion. I think it's the lack of ability to deal with the switch up. And what I mean by that is when you meet a person, you're not going to be the same person you are 5 years later. You're going to change.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is HAP, we were talking earlier about women, their behavior. You know what I'm saying? And I was just going back to that because you made a point up about how you've changed over the years, right? I think that if men had the mentality of older men where they value peace and not chaos, women will learn at a very early age that peace is what wins games. The problem is these dudes out here, you go through that phase with like, she really love me. You know what I'm saying? That stalking behavior, like she crazy, but you kind of like that she crazy. You know what I'm saying? She crazy for you. Or they go through that little point where, they got a girl who ride or die, and so she's still in that behavior. And now that behavior is not acceptable as she gets older. Whereas if we teach people that behavior shouldn't be acceptable at all, it may change because you're getting it at a younger age. You know what I'm saying? If we can get the boys on the same page to say, look, I don't like it when you talk like that's ratchet. You need to chill a bit.